Hi, Wilhelmina here. This is Sunday, January 17th, 2016. And it's just me thinking. What I was thinking about this morning is power to the people. So I'm going to read you what I wrote this morning. The story I'm writing with my words from Wilhelmina is the story of power to the people. The story of the escapades of the Fearless Four is one chapter of the story. Theirs is the story of power to the people through free energy and the QEG. This is a grand story. I'm honored to be hearing it firsthand from Hope and T-Von and from Jamie and Val. I am honored to find myself being swept into this story. I'm honored to be able to tell the story to you. I'm a writer. I have never written publicly, but I have always loved to write. I'm also a storyteller. I have never told my stories publicly, but I also love to tell stories. I love to hear people's stories and then to tell them. I have always loved stories, and the stories I love are stories about little, ordinary, everyday people like you and me, doing what we can, doing the best with whatever we find in front of us, trying to be happy. When I read the stories my mother told me, I picture myself sitting at her knee, enthralled, while she tells me how her brothers mended their lobster traps, and how Mary Jane and Abram, her grandparents, as they grew older, would sit day after day by the sunny window in the parlor and look out over the big hay field across the road, and look beyond the stone wall where the wild roses grew and perfumed the mild summer air, and look down over the big hill to the little pond, and then farther away to where Otterbrook, that flowed through the pond, after leaving the pond, snaked its way through the soft grasses of the marsh. Salt grasses. Those grasses were specially cut as a treat for the cattle. My mum told me about that. And then Otterbrook emptied itself into the bay. The old folks looked across the bay to Lewis Head Beach, where the villagers from around the shores would gather for their summer picnics. The fishermen rowing their families across the wide bay to the long sandy beach in their sturdy wooden dories they had built themselves, and the long-skirted ladies toting wicker hampers filled with fried chickens and potato salads and fresh breads and deep-fried doughnuts that they would lay out on starched tablecloths spread over the white sand. I seem to remember that I've been to one of those picnics, but I might be just imagining that because my mum told it to me so vividly that I feel as though I've been there. If I was there, it was a long time ago. My mother told me that old Abram, her grandfather, would snooze in his chair with a white handkerchief spread over his head to keep the flies off his bald crown, and that Mary Jane sat for so long in her wooden rocker by the window that one sleeve of her black dress turned green in the sun. These are the stories of the people that I love to hear and I love to tell. The story of free energy in the QEG is also a story of real people, of all the little people on the planet today. But we, you listening and me talking, are not people rocking in our chairs, watching the world go by on the other side of our wobbly window panes. We are people rising. People waking up from our naps and our daydreams. We are people becoming aware of the power we have inside of ourselves. We are studying this power in the same way that the QEG engineers are studying their parts and fittings. We are doing experiments with it in our own little ways. And we are learning how to tap in to this inner power and how to channel it and how to manage it so that we can create with this power the lives we long to be living. I have not heard this new story yet, so I don't know how it's going to shape up. I am just writing it as it comes, as I see it, as I think it, page by page. But I have a hunch that a major theme of my new story, of the new story of the age, will be manifesting. What I suspect is that the power of the people is now in the snooze mode. It has been in the snooze mode, but when it is wide awake, this power is going to land an even bigger punch than the electrical juices that are now squirting through all of those QEGs that I'm so thrilled to be hearing about. This power, all of it, outer power and inner power, is ours by birthright. And so many of us are now wanting it. I see this, I hear it all the time, wherever I look. The handkerchiefs are slipping from our sleeping heads. The pesky little flies of possibility are crawling on our crowns. How can we not wake up to it? And soon. That's all I want to say about power, but I ended my writing this morning by writing, "Oi, my exercise time, where is it going? Up and at it, girlie. Good body, good life," right? It's time to put down the pen, pick up my weights. One last word, though. Up with free energy. Up with power to the people. Yeah! Bye for now. Wilhelmina, catch you later. Now, where's that red? No, not the red button, the yellow button right here. Goodbye.